everybody, Tony D and Little Joan with a Screenwriter's Rant on Life is Strange True Colors, which is some kind of video game, but it's very much a CW TV show at the same time. So it's from Square Enix, and it's about this girl who moves into this little town, this beautiful town, because her brother lives there, and she reconnects with him. And apparently this is a sequel, so some stuff went on before, and now, she's meeting all his friends and getting settled in, and then tragedy strikes. Her brother dies, and it's up to her. It's kind of like a mystery game. She's sort of figuring out how her brother died and who her friends are. And the weird premise of the game is she has these empath powers. She can sense people's emotions. So part of the game is you try to sense their auras and emotions, use the power of emotion to figure out, the mystery and who your friends are and who you can trust. But you got to be careful because you can get caught up in the emotion, and if you don't use it correctly, it could destroy you. It's called Life is Strange. So, not sure where it comes out and when it comes out. It's very much a girls' video game, I think. Because of that, I think it's very much geared towards women. I mean, women in the gaming community have been complaining for years, where's our game? Where's our game? Where's our game? Here it is. This is, this is not my kind of game. I wouldn't play it. I would get bored to death about this game because it just looks boring to me, It looks like a typical drama. It doesn't look poorly executed. Although I will say, although the characters are really nice, well defined, they don't lick the table, Joan. Stop licking things, okay? I don't think the lips move very close because they seem to cut away the moment somebody speaks. The moment somebody's speaking in this trailer, it's like, okay, we're cutting away. So I think, that is a tell that they can't get the lips to move with the dialogue. It's like too much work. That's too detailed. But other than that, I mean, it looks decent. Lighting's nice, and the effects look cool. I would totally play this game. Now that being said, it's a game. Some people are going to look at this and say, "Oh, this is very sort of kind of a woke game." Everybody depending upon their emotion. Yes, but it is just a game. If the wokies want to play this, I have no problem with it, as long as they keep it in that fantasy realm. So yeah, I mean, it's sort of the ultimate fantasy in that area, that you could figure out things using your emotion, that follow your emotion rather than say logic and evidence and forensics and things like that. I'm sure some of that is in this as a default. Oh wait, here's a date: September 10th. Pre-order now. That's okay. Life is Strange, September 10th. The first act, it would follow a movie format, right? The first act would be she shows up at her brother's place, and there's probably a ton of cutscenes in this thing, right? And your character is interacting with those cutscenes. So it's a little bit like you're directing a CW TV show. So you get the story of her brother and her past, because this is a sequel to another game. You probably get a little taste of her powers, which she uses in a setting that is where the stakes are very, very low, like, just having fun or whatever. And then at the end of the first act, the brother dies. And then it's a big tragedy, go to the funeral. She's just met all his friends, and she's trying to figure out, who to believe, who to trust, because she believes her brother was killed. Or something strange happened to her brother, let's say. No, don't look on the table. Don't lick the table. I'm trying to tell you not to lick the table. So then the second act, she's using her powers against these people, not against, but like, on these people, trying to figure out their deal, and maybe some of them are dishonest. And probably part of the game, I imagine, is you got to figure out who your friends are, right? So you figure out who your friends are, who your allies are, and who's not an ally. And then you're figuring out the mystery. There's various clues. She goes to the place of his death, and she falls in love with his best friend during the course of this. Is my guess. Either that, or he turns out to be a bad guy too, and then she falls in love with him, but then he turns out to be bad. So then in the third act, she exposed why he died and who killed him, or maybe who's responsible for his death. Maybe it was a murder, maybe it was an accident that was covered up, and probably at the end of this, she leaves the town because she can't deal with it anymore. Because if this is successful, they'll want to make a third video game, Life is Strange, where she goes and moves somewhere else, and then something else happens to her, and it gives her an excuse to use her powers. So again, I'm not against this game, although it's it feels very girly to me, but that's fine. Ladies, this video game, I think you would like it a lot. Unless you're more like, if you have taste like guys do, guys like The Outsiders, like I just looked at, looks badass. I get to shoot aliens and monsters, run around. Like that game doesn't need to be woke. The Outsiders doesn't need to be woke. This game, woke it up. Woke it the F up, because who cares? It's aimed at a particular audience. Now, I don't know if that particular audience really buys a lot of video games. I would think there's a very niche market for it, maybe because they pushed and pushed and pushed to get women into video games. But, yeah. So, here you go, Twitter. It's a video game for you.